All right, sweet. We should be live. Let's see. All right, cool. Everything looks good to go. Nice. All right, cool. So, when last we left off, I was playing around with shaders. So, I want to figure out a blazing star. And so, go to my assets and shaders here. We have a shader test. So cool. Put this over here, and then let's add a node. Texture. UV function. So I'm just learning about. Ooh, a texture 2D. Here we go. So let's pick a texture so we can see, like, you know, how it looks. So let's go ahead and pick out. Da 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 da. Yeah. Okay. Let's do sprites, hand drawn, and then we'll do our stupid lame star that we made. Kind of sucks, but whatever, right? So what if we connect that? No, what if we don't do that? What if we connect that? Can we connect that? No. So UV. So what would I do with this? Let's add another node, I guess. Let's play around. So let's do transform, common, vector, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of playing around with shaders. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, to be honest. So da 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 da. Just kind of looking through documentation, see what we have. Okay, interesting. If. Seems like it might just be easier just to, like, learn how to code it, to be honest. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and go back to shaders. Let's create new resource shader. Let's just do a normal shader. And other shader test. No, actually we're gonna make, like, we're gonna try to make blazing star. That's what we're gonna try to make. So here we have a shader. So we want this to be canvas item. So we don't need this, as far as I know. Ooh. Called for every pixel for every light affecting the material. That could be handy. How do I do that? Using compute shaders. Oh, we're on the latest. Let's do the stable. How about that? There we go. They're shaders. Shading reference. Canvas item shaders. So canvas item shaders are used to draw all 2D elements in Godot. These include all nodes that inherit from canvas items and all GUI elements. Canvas item shaders contain fewer built-in variables and functionality than spatial shaders, but they maintain the same basic structure with vertex, fragment, and light processor functions. Oh, okay. So I guess I shouldn't have removed that other one. Canvas item. Okay. So let's see, global built-ins, time, pi, tau, e, vertex. I don't quite understand what to do with all this stuff. Fragment built-ins, color and texture. Light processor functions work differently in Godot 4 than they did in Godot 3. In Godot 4, all lighting is done during the regular draw pass. In other words, Godot no longer draws the object again for each light. Use the unshaded render mode if you do not want light. You do not want the light function to run. Use the light only render mode if you only want to see the impact of lighting on an object. Okay. If you define a light function, it will replace the built-in light function, even if your light function is empty. Okay. Interesting. So I guess since I have this, we can just test something, I suppose. Go to Entity, Star Systems, Genesis, Star Scene. Let's go to the 2D. Then just for funsies, let's add our shader to this material. So now I guess as I make changes to this, it will play around. So what I learned last time, so UV is an important thing, color is an important thing, we can get some stuff from texture as well. So let's just play around with something here. So let's just say color equal, and then we'll do like does that work? Oh. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Spec 4. Does that work? Okay, I did a thing. So that's interesting. So texture sampler. Does that work? No, constants cannot be modified. So we can do color. No, this is a, what, Vec 4? Is that what it is? And then we'll do like color. Okay, we're kind of learning. Color equals color. I'm just kind of playing around, just seeing what happens, because I don't even know what this is gonna do. Okay, so we just changed the color by multiplying it. What if we add it? What does that do? Okay, that's a little weird. But multiplying it, what if we subtract it? What's that do? Oh, whoopsie. So what if we make this 0? What if we subtract 0 from it? So that's also a way to kind of do that. Let's do Vec 3. And then let's leave off that last value. What does that do? Yeah, so colors of vec4, you can't subtract a vec3 from it. Okay. That makes sense. So what about doing like some noise, like textures and stuff like that? So your first shader, first 2D shader. So let's go ahead and just read this real quick. Canvas item shaders are used to draw all 2D objects. In order to use a shader, it must be attached inside a material, which must be attached to an object. Materials are a type of resource to draw multiple objects with the same material. The material must be attached to each object, okay? All objects derived from a canvas item have a material property. This includes all graphical user interface elements as well. Sprite 2D, tile maps, layers, and mesh 2D instances, etc. What's a mesh instance 2D? What is that? A mesh in 2D. What does this do? I'm curious now. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Mesh is a type of resource that contains vertex array based geometry divided in surfaces. Each surface contains a completely separate array and a material used to draw it. Design-wise, a mesh with multiple surfaces is preferred to a single surface. Okay. Because objects created in 3D editing software. Okay. So that could be cool for later. To begin, create a Sprite 2D node. You can use any canvas item as long as it's drawing to the canvas. Yep. So canvas item, we got that. Fragment function. Okay. So we're kind of doing that already. You should written as first shader. Now let's make these more complex. Yep, color, UV, got it. So let's actually back up a little bit and read this. There are many inputs to the fragment function that you can use for calculating color. UV is one of them. UV coordinates are specified in your Sprite 2D without you knowing it. And they tell the shader where to read from textures for each part of the mesh. In the fragment function, you can only read from UV, but you can use it in other functions to assign values to color directly. UV varies from 0 to 1, from left to right, and top to bottom. Okay. The default fragment function reads from the set Sprite 2D to okay. Set Sprite 2D texture and displays it. When you want to adjust a color in a Sprite 2D, you can adjust the color from the texture manually, like in the code below. Certain nodes, like Sprite 2Ds, have a dedicated texture variable that can be accessed in the shader using texture. If you want to use the Sprite 2D's texture to combine with other colors, you can use the UV with the texture to access this variable. Use them to redraw the Sprite 2D with the texture. Okay. Uniform input. Uniform input is used to pass data. Okay, so this is like declaring variables basically, right? Your first vertex function. Use the vertex function to calculate where on screen each vertex should end up. The most important variable in the vertex function is vertex. Initially, it specifies the vertex coordinates in your model, but you also write it to determine where to actually draw these vertices. Vertex is a vec2 that is initially presented in local space, i.e. not relative to the camera, viewport, or parent nodes. You can offset the vertices directly by adding to vertex. So what does that do? Let's play around with that. So what did they have over here? They just had vertex plus equals to vec2. Okay, let's see what this does. I don't know what that did. Oh, this is still jacked up. That's why. We'll make this a vec4, and then we'll do We'll do 1, and then we're gonna go back to multiplying it. Oh, it just moves it. That's interesting. Interesting, okay. Basic animation. Let's see what they're doing here. This doesn't seem basic to me, but whatever. Okay. Let's see what this does. Ooh. So vertex basically gives us movement. That's kind of cool. Okay. The outer bounds of the shader. The vertex shader controls the area which you can manipulate using vertices. Everything outside of the vertices will not be drawn on the screen. The texture function does not create a texture. This is a common misconception when starting out. The texture function samples the texture data from the texture that you specified in the first parameter, in this case, texture, which is the constant, the original texture, and then returns the color data in an alpha channel as a vector-4 data type. Scaling a texture using UV mapping. To scale up, multiply UV coordinates by a value lower than 1. To scale down, multiply coordinates by a value higher than 1. For visual examples, okay. Moving, translating a texture. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, there's a lot we can do with this for sure. What if we just set all these to 1? What would that do? Probably nothing, just be normal again, yeah. Ba-da-da! Let's do 0.2 on that. We'll do 0.5. What does that do? Basically making it orbit. Okay, that's interesting. So how do we add like a texture for noise and stuff like that? So let's ask our buddy Claude. Let's see. Hi, Claude. I'm working in Godot 4, playing with some shaders, and I'm... Oh, god damn, I hit enter. Yeah. Sorry, got cut off. I'd like to create a shader that I can apply to a sprite 2D to make a sort of blazing star effect. Any ideas on how I would approach that? When in doubt, AI out. Radial glow with animated rays. Okay. So interesting. Noise-based flicker. I think the noise-based is probably what we want. So what are they doing? They're doing center. Declaring another vector 2 position equals UV minus center. I don't know why we're doing that. Float distance equals length of position. Rotating animation. Float, core, smooth step, core. What is POW? There's so many functions here, I have no idea what they actually do. Oh, there's a noise function. Okay. Let's try this. So we have a noise function. Let's go ahead and just comment this out for right now. We'll comment all this happy shit out for the moment. Da, 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 da. This was in Fragment, I believe. So then we gotta copy these things here. Oh my god, that actually kind of works. What the hell? Okay. Flicker speed. Let's do like 0.5 maybe. Doesn't seem to be doing much. What about 8? Okay. Flicker intensity. That's basically it. What the hell? So what is this doing? We're doing noise. I don't know where these arbitrary numbers came from. What the fuck is this? Center. Time-based flickering. Create the star shape of flickering. So star mask equals smooth step. What does POW do? I don't know, but it kind of works. What do we do for... Ooh, inner color. Here we go. That's interesting. Outer color. Source color. I mean, this works. Like, this gives us a basic star, right? Which is kind of cool. So let's crank this up to, like, I don't know, like 8. Huh. Okay. Let's copy this. And then let's play around with it. Because I don't know what the hell these numbers are. What if we just do, like, 780? What does this do? Gives us a lot more noise. What if we add a 0 here? What does this do? What the fuck did the kid... I don't understand what this shit's doing. I mean, it kind of works, though. So, source color... Shader parameters. Oh, here we go. So, inner color will be brighter. So, if we wanted to make it... like, I don't know, like... more blue or something, right? If we want to do something like this. And then the outer color Da-da-da-da. Oh, hell yeah. This is cool. Okay. There we go. We made the sun, I think. That's cool, though. So we could probably make it bigger, too. We could probably scale it, right? Okay. That worked awesome. Approach 2 worked out pretty damn well. Can you explain line by line what this shader is doing? I'm very new to shaders and I don't understand what most of it is doing. All right. So we'll let Claude tell us what it thinks it knows. Did it get that like from documentation or something like that? Let's see. Shader style guide. So it says, this tells Godot what type of shader this is. Yep, got that. So then this noise function, where he just has a bunch of random ass fucking numbers that seem like very specific numbers. This creates a pseudo random noise. Don't worry about the math. It's a common trick that takes any 2D coordinate and spits out a random number between 0 and 1. We use this to make the flickering look natural instead of perfectly smooth. Okay. Fraxin dot. Jesus, there's so much crap going on. Main function, fragment. This is where the magic happens. This function runs once for every pixel on your sprite. That checks out with what the documentation says. So UV is the current pixel's position. 0, 0 top left, 1, 1's bottom right. We set the center to the middle of the sprite. Oh, okay, I see. POS is how far the current pixel is from the outer or from the center. Could be negative. That makes sense. Distance is the actual distance from the center to this pixel. Always positive. Then we have a flicker. This creates a flickering effect. The UV multiplied by 10.0 makes the noise pattern smaller, more detailed. So if we lessen that amount, does it make it bigger? It does. What if we make it bigger? Okay. Time is Godot's built-in time counter, always increasing. Time.flicker speed makes the noise animate over time. We multiply flicker intensity to control how strong the effect is. So flicker intensity, yep. So this creates the basic star shape. Star mass, smooth step. Okay, smooth step is like a smooth transition from 1 to 0. When dist is 0, center, we get 1. When dist is 0.4 plus, we get 0. Okay. So if I change that part to be like maybe like the outer 60% of it, what does that do? It gives us a more pronounced glow, which is nice. If I reduce that, and if we go like 0.9, okay, so that would look weird because that's kind of boxy. Da 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 da. Okay. Flicker, so that makes the size flicker. Interesting. Let's try changing this and see what happens. Is it just me or is it growing? There you go. That's good to me. So, POW, Star Mask, what is... Okay, so a few questions as I read this. One, where do those arbitrary numbers from the noise function come from? You said it's a common thing, but I've never seen it, and I still don't understand how that works. And then 2, what does the POW function do? How would I extend the bounds of this shader to go beyond the bounds of the sprite? All right, let's do what Claude says. The mysterious noise function numbers. You're right to be confused. This looks like random magic numbers. Here's what's happening. The goal: turn any 2D coordinate into a random number. The method: use math functions that are very sensitive to small changes. Let's break it down. Dot. This combines your UV coordinates with those weird numbers. The dot function multiplies and adds. The sin function, sine waves are super sensitive. Change the input slightly and get a completely different output. Multiplying it makes the sine output even more chaotic. Fract takes only the decimal part. Okay. Giving us 0 to 1. What in the hell? Okay. You say so. Those specific numbers were discovered by trial and error by graphics programmers years ago. They're chosen because they create good-looking random patterns without obvious repetition. It's like a magic recipe that just works. Think of it like this. You put in coordinates 3.2 and 1.7 and get out 0.847. Put in and get, okay, tiny input change equals big output change. Looks random. I see. Interesting. The POW function raises a number to a power. Okay. So power means star mass to the 1.5 power. Does that make sense? But why do this? It changes the curve shape. POW 2, steeper curve, gentler curve, more gradual transition. In our star shader, makes the star have a sharper fall off. The center stays brighter longer, and then drops off more quickly at the edges. This makes it look more like a glowing star rather than a soft blob. It's true. Extending beyond sprite bounds. This is trickier. The shader only affects the pixels in your sprite. To extend beyond, you have a few options. Make your sprite texture bigger. Modify the UV math to zoom out. Okay. Interesting. So let's try this. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to comment this out for right now. It's going to break it. And we're going to put this in here. Okay, that just made everything smaller. Okay. That's fine, whatever. So if we wanted to make it bigger, we could scale the sprite 2D whatever size we want. So that's cool. Either way, we have kind of a blazing star shader, which is kind of cool. That's awesome. I'm digging that. Yes, that's helpful. Thank you. All right, cool. So Claude just made me a frickin' shader and tried to explain how it works. And I kind of get what it's doing, but it's still blowing my mind, especially since I'm new to shaders. But it works. So let's see how it looks in game. Okay, so you can see the bounds, like it's kind of hitting the bounds of the box. But it is kind of working. What if we just didn't flicker anything? What if we... What if we phased out the flicker entirely, right? So, go back to the shader. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Oh, man. Okay, flicker intensity. Yeah, definitely. The source color, I like that. So our flicker gives us the noise. What if we got rid of the flicker intensity? So basically it makes the flicker intensity like 1.0. Okay, so this kind of scales it down. Create the star shape with the flickering. Interesting. Color gradients. So let's drop this down to 0.4. There we go. So that should self-contain it. I don't like the kind of dark. It looks like staticky, and that looks weird. I don't like the staticky. So let's do a little modification to the shader. And let's say that, hey, so noise is going to return basically at between 0 and 1. And I'm going to say if a flicker is less than, let's say, 0.3. I see. So they expect this. Then flicker equals 0.3. Boom. Let's see what that does. Doesn't do anything. Let's do Let's try this. Okay. That looks better. So it basically makes it so that that doesn't quite, like, go so low. But it also doesn't look as bright. So let's change that to be 0.5 and see what that does. Looks better, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. It's a sun. So now, what we can do for this thing as well is we're also going to add... Let's add a light. Light 2D. Positional 2D light source. So we need to have a texture. So let's go ahead and go back to my sprites. Let's go to my purchased, or is it open game art? I think it's particles. No, it's probably under purchased. Let's see. Nope, it's not under that. Where did I put that? I know I had it somewhere. Particles. Space background, textures, UI. Oh, here we go. SPR light mask. So we're going to add that. Biggity boom. Point light 2D. We're going to scale that by, what was it, 15? Let's run it now and see what happens. Alright. So you can see we're pretty bright. We don't know if we're actually casting a shadow or not. Let's go see. Well, let's go fly down to Earth and see if we're casting a shadow. We are not. Not that I can tell anything. So enabled, color, energy, blend mode, add. What does height do? Interesting. Huh. That's interesting. I don't know what, yeah. So it is lighting. We do have our light occluder on our test ship. So let's go ships, test ship. We have example sprite stuff. Light occluder, we do have that. Oh, why is Colma? What is closed? Yep, coming from any direction. So if we set that to be clockwise, does that mean that we're culling the light? Does that mean we're casting a shadow now? Doesn't show that we are. It's almost like we're not even affecting the same channel or something. SDF collision. What does this do? Custom shaders. Okay. So what light mask do we have for our star? Yeah, should be that. Give it more energy. What does that do? Makes it even way more brighter. Holy crap. I think we're too far away. Let's crank this down to 1. And then in my main code, where I'm just basically plopping down a location in a random spot, let's go ahead and mess with the Earth resource. So the location, let's just do 500 by 500. Let's see what that does. Yeah, so we're not casting shadows, which is a bummer. That's what I want to do. So let's take a look at the ship again. Sample sprite, light occluder. Yeah, we're not casting shadows. Let's see. Switching gears from shaders. I have a point light 2D that has a proper texture set and is indeed emitting light. However, my light occluder on my ship is not casting any shadows. What am I doing wrong? Because it was in the old one. This might be another tweak of how. So, light occluder node, occluder polygon. Polygon should have points. Needs to be clockwise for proper shadows. Verify your point light. Shadow enabled. Oh, okay. It's probably just a frickin' setting. Let's do this. And then let's go back to Genesis Star. Shadow. Oh, here we go. Enabled. On. Okay. There we go. So that's casting a shadow. That's cool. So now... it was the shadows checkbox. Easy peasy. My bad. Alright, so once Claude gives me his little generic response here. Haha, classic! That checkbox hits everyone at least once. So now I'm going to ask Claude if there's a way to make a shader that will allow, like, the world to basically act like the sun is, like, emitting light on it, which would be cool. Now that I have the light working, is there a shader that I can use on a 2D, on a sprite 2D of a planet that is just pretty, that makes it look like the sun is shining on the face of the planet? I drew them in a flat color, so it looks off now. Let's see what he says. Basic planet shading shader that simulates sunlight hitting a sphere. Fuck yeah. Let's see what he does. Okay, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. So far, he's 1 for 1 with shaders, but we'll see. So canvas item, light direction. So we can set that light intensity, ambient light, planet curve. Okay. Let's try it. So let's go back to our assets, shaders. We're going to create new resource. We're going to make a new shader. I'm going to call this one sphere light. What was we're going to call it? Sphere light effect. All right, and let's see how we just copy paste. How many errors do we get? Okay, hint ranges for float and int only. Okay. So what do we do for a vector 2 then? Source color. So do we have to have a hint at all? Let's go. Let's ask Claude to clarify that. So let's copy this. Go back to Claude. For this line, it says that hint range is only for floats and what else does it say? Float and int only. So, okay, they just get rid of that. Okay. The shader code, change this line. Interesting. Alright, whatever. Let's just get rid of this. Let's see what it does. Okay, using return and fragment processor function is incorrect. Alright. Let's check with Claude. We're doing some vibe coding here. Next error. Using return in fragment function is incorrect. Okay, so he's doing a bunch of stuff. We now use this. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So we have it. It's not complaining. Let's see what happens when we apply it. So we have a star. Let's open up our Earth scene. And just for fun, for this sprite 2D, let's go to material. We'll drag in this shader. I mean, it kind of works. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So we crank that down to 0. We didn't even specify the friggin' light color. That's awesome. Probably keep that like that is for there. Planet curve. Oh, that's cool. That's exactly what we wanted. Are you kidding me? This is cool. Okay. So, we now have to calculate the direction of the light. Interesting. So it's coming 3 over and negative, so it's coming from like this direction. So if we do 0.03, negative 03, 0.3. Dude, hell yeah. Okay, cool. So light direction. How are we using that? Like, what if we make it stupid fucking big, right? Light direction equals normalize, vector 3. Okay, so far, Claude is like 2 for 2 with shaders. This is fucking cool. Alright, I'm gonna put up here just like with Claude.ai. That's fine. So cool, we have that shader. So now basically we have to... Let me ask Claude. How would I determine the direction when I create... How would I determine and set the direction uniform when I set up the scene? I place the star first, and then I place any other planets after the fact. So, simple script on the planet. So it's just normalizing the... Okay. So that's easy enough to do. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's see. Earth scene. This is a Node 2D. And then we'll want to also update the shader as well. So we'll assign our area 2D so that it can be referenced. We don't really need a comment for that. It's already kind of up here. So now we'll also, if we do have a shader, let's ensure we set the direction properly. So we're basically doing, so we, since the star is always going to be like at 0, 0 of the star system, basically, we can just make our direction our negative position and then normalize it, and then that will be our parameter. Now, I may have some planets or locations that may not use this shader. How can I check for the existence of this uniform before trying to set it? All right. So cool. So if we'll do sprite 2D dot material dot get, yeah, I know, get fucking, what does it say? Get shader, or get shader parameter. Get shader parameter. Okay, we'll just say var light deer, which is going to be, I don't know. Let's just say write 2D dot material dot get shader parameter. And we're gonna, the parameter that we stuck with for our shader was light direction. Light direction. If light deer is not equal null, I don't know why I did that. There we go. If light deer does not equal null, then we are going to do a sprite 2D dot material dot set shader parameter and light direction, and we're going to set it to basically be a bump. Ba-da-da. Let's try this. Let's var SPR, which is a sprite 2D equals, and we'll just do sprite 2D. That way that gives us some autocomplete functionality. It's material. So now we're going to do material. So shader material. So set shader parameter will be a value variant. Okay, so it can accept multiple things. So we're basically going to do negative position. And we're going to do that normal lines. There we go. Let's see if that works. So we should also add a light occluder to the location as well. So let's go ahead and add light occluder. Occluder. Does it have to be a polygon? It'd be cool if we just do a sphere, but I get it. It's fine. There we go. So that is... I don't know if that's applying quite correctly or not. I mean, it is like casting shadows, which is awesome. Learning shaders, you go. Well done. I don't know if I'm learning shaders or if I'm just dicking around with chat with Claude. But so far, I'm trying. Trying to figure out how to make this look a little better. So let's see. What's your problem here? Yes, we already have that setter drawn. That's fine. Alright, so that does look a little wonky when I fly over it. Kind of funny. A small shuttle blackens the galaxy. Oh well, what could you do? So maybe... I don't know, should ships cast shadows? I don't think they should. So the shader is kind of working, but it doesn't seem to... Let's take a look at our code again for our scene here. So we are setting light direction to be basically negative position. Or should we do vector 2? Yeah, it still looks a little weird. It's getting better, but the light direction's not quite where it needs to be yet. But we're getting there. So let's see if I can tweak that shader. So light direction, we have a vector 2. We're doing normalize. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so we are setting it. Let's just verify that we are. Let's bring this down. Then we're gonna say... Oh, nope, not what I wanted to do. Here we go. I'm gonna do a little debug line here. Print, and I'm gonna put... I should calculate this or whatever, but we'll just do this. I just want to see. Normalized vector to determine direction. I just want to see what it does. Oh, yeah, see, it's going 0, 0. So is that because we are... Let's take a look at our main scene. So that's because we're setting the location after we add it to the scene, which is why it's all jacked up. So let's try this and see what happens. There we go. That looks more like a planet. Holy shit, that looks cool. Hell yeah! Oh my god, that's awesome. It works. It does look a bit weird, though, that we're like... Yeah, that's freaking cool. I like that. That's dope. Hell yeah. freaking cool. Okay, so let's play with the lighting a little bit. I want to see if I have an idea. So let's go to our Genesis star, to our point light, which is emitting that light. Let's also make it do on mask 2. And the shadow also on 2. Let's save that. And then for my ship test, well, for my example sprite where my light occluder is, let's make this only work on 2. Let's see what happens. Or should I have... Let's keep this on 1, and then let's add the location. Let's add this one as 2. How about that? No. Still shows up. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. So I guess it's because it has its own built-in light occluder that we're not... I was hoping I would be able to cast like a shadow over top of it, but I guess it doesn't make much sense. I mean, it still looks amazing though. Hell yeah! This drastically improved the art. Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's modify this shader. Let's go ahead and light intensity. So what did I do? My sprite. So light intensity, we're going to default that to be 2 because that looks better. And the ambient light, I think we should just set to be 0.1. I think you could still tell it's like a planet back there, which is kind of cool. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Love it. So there is some weird kind of like white border around the planet though, and I don't know if that's a result of the shader or if that's just my crappy art. I think it's probably just my crappy art. So let's go to sprites, hand drawn, and let's show in file manager. And let's open this with, let's do Pixelrama. Let's try that out. So we want to see, oh yeah, there's definitely a few edges around. Yeah, there's like a gray edge around that's all jacked up. Well shit, why is that there? Yeah, you can see kind of here it always has this border. Crap. Okay. Well, that might be a thing to fix for sure. But yeah. So cool. We have that looks cool. I think that looks great. We have a freaking planet. That looks so cool. Oh yeah, man, that is awesome sauce. I wonder what would happen if we also applied that to our ship. What would that look like? We'd have to constantly update that parameter though as we're moving. Which shouldn't be too big a deal. We could just you could just use our global position for that. So let's go to example sprite, and just for shits and giggles, what happens if I apply this shader to it? Material. Where are my shaders? Okay. So that is also kind of cool. It could be really immersive. I wonder how I would look for bigger ships, though. So, for example, if I tweak this... So, shader parameters, let's say the ambient light is also a bit higher. I don't know. I think it could be really, really cool. Let's try this. So let's do this. So we have extends node 2D, perfect. So let's see, called every frame. Delta is time elapsed since last frame. So let's go ahead and add a func process here. And then we'll say that to do testing this out for funsies, right? So if we go to our Earth scene, so we have this. Just give me the fucking line of code, damn it. Okay, let's just copy this and then let's modify it for our example sprite. So sprite, we don't really have to, because we are the sprite, so we can just get rid of this, and we can just do material. And then we can do global, no, not too global. I want to do global position normalized. And I would like to see if this works. So it's not really updating our... Oh, I think it is. It's just that... Okay, I see. So the normal sprite is like facing this way. So it's not accounting for... So it is updating it, however, it doesn't account for this. Okay, interesting. Yeah. This is some cool stuff that we could do here. This is awesome. I just gotta do some thinking here. Let's grab this. Copy. All right. I also applied that shader to my ships to see how it looks, and it's pretty awesome. Adds lots of depth to the game. How would I tweak this code that I have in the process method of a sprite 2D to also account for the rotation of the ship? And we'll paste it, see what he says. Let's see what Claude says. So it's not accounting for the rotation of the sprite? No, it is only, it's basically this taking the image and we're just basically determining the direction, but then that is relative. So here, I want the image to like determine the direction and then also account for that. So update ship lighting, local light direction. Okay. I'm not using that parameter name. I'm only using the one like you originally set, Claude. Stop fixing my shit. Yeah. All right. So I think this will just be simple. It's just also adding our rotation. So then we're going to say we need to account for the sprite rotation as well. So here's the thing though. The sprite's not rotated. The ship itself is. So if I call rotation here, it's just going to be whatever. But maybe there's a get global rotation or something like that. There is global rotation. So let's do this. We're going to say var, and we're going to say rotation, and this is going to be a vector 2 equals, it's going to be a vector 2, and we're just going to do just normalized, like a normalized one value, like facing to the right like a sprite normally is. And then we're gonna basically rotate it by our global rotation. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to get that direction, and then we're going to, let's see, we're going to say var star direction. This is going to be a vector 2. We're going to pass that there. And then all we're going to do is basically just add those together. That's all we're going to do. So we will do rotation plus star direction. Star direction. Let's see if that works. Oh, nope, not working. Maybe it'll be a minus thing, I'm not sure. I mean, it kind of works for a second or two. So maybe it should be a minus thing. No, that's acting really weird. So let's see what his code's doing. Local light direction rotated by minus global rotation. So that's what he's doing. Interesting. So let's do let's get rid of this entirely. And let's say that... Because this vector 2, this is basically just the... I could just do negative global position normalized. And that would be fine. And then what I want to do is then we could do rotated by negative global position. Is that what he had? Global rotation. Let's see if that works. That's gonna break. I didn't specify it. Star direction. I think it works. Holy crap. That's kind of cool. Whoa. Yeah, I think this adds a lot of depth to it. This is cool. Freaking awesome. Okay, so let's tweak a few things to make it look even better. Oh my god, I'm so pumped. This is awesome. Yeah, so sweet indeed. Okay, cool. So light intensity, let's back this off to 1. And just see what that does. So it just makes it kind of darker, which is fine. Now I want to crank up the ambient light to maybe like 5. Save that. There we go. That way we could still see our ship. I don't know. I think I should crank up the light even more. This is cool. I'm pumped, man. This is awesome. Oh, here we go. Yeah. See, that looks awesome. I think this looks great. Holy cow. So there's definitely still some improvements. So for example, my sprites have this nasty border around them that I have to fix. That's not gonna be fun to do. I'm probably gonna have to recreate the sprites. I have the original drawing file of them. I just have to clean that up better before I do the textures inside them, basically. But I think this is cool. I kind of want... I don't like how you can kind of see through the sun. So maybe I might tweak that a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so when we make the player... we'll do player... We'll set the position of the player to be something like... I don't know, so we're doing what for the... At 250, let's do 400, and then we'll do like negative, I don't know, 250. That way I'm not like spawning right on the sun. There we go. So really cool. I like how this looks. That shader for the just adds so much depth with the lighting system. That's fucking huge. That's so cool. Okay, so this is a good start, but I'm gonna tweak that some more later for sure. That's gonna look insane when the screen is loaded with ships. Yeah, it's gonna look awesome. I just hope it doesn't like bog down the game too much, but I think it should be fine. I'm not sure about the ships casting shadows, though. I don't know if I should have them cast shadows. Because planets, yeah, but I don't know about ships should be able to cast shadows. So, is there a way I can toggle the ship to not cast a shadow? That might look a little better. So let's go to light occluder, cull mode. Do we have a way? Let's see. Is there a way for my ship to not cast shadows with the light occluder? Let's see what Claude says. Okay, I still want it to react. I guess I wouldn't need wow, I might not even need the fucking light occluder, to be honest. Let's turn it off, see what happens. Save. So if we don't have the light occluder, it makes us look super duper bright. Oh, that's cool. That's actually really awesome. Okay. That could be totally fine, actually. They would, though, maybe less shadow? I don't know. I'm gonna leave it on for now, because I do like how it looks with the ships just casting shadows. I think it looks freaking cool. So it looks great. That little change I made to the parallax background to add a second layer with some alpha, so it moves at different speeds, really adds a lot of depth to it, I think, as well. And then just going in the shadow of a planet looks amazing. Yeah, this looks cool. Sweet. I'm just floating around in space. This is fun. I like how this looks. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to crank up, not crank up. I'm gonna have to modify the art style for sure. So, I did that. We'll do OMG shaders. Cool. So where I left off, we got some shaders going. So we're gonna have to, I'm gonna do a to-do list. Clean up sprites. Clean up the edges of my hand-drawn sprites, as there's some messiness there. Alright. Played with shaders. Awesome. So let's see, what's next on our list of awesomeness? So we have, effectively, we basically have a super basic star system. So we could add more locations to it. We have a moon, we can add that. Let's take a look at, let's just go ahead and add a moon. Let's see what's going to be like to add a new moon, right? Well, we have location. So we have the location resource, then we have the scene. So let's go ahead and add another resource. We're going to add location data. This is going to be called, let's see, moon. And then I'm going to duplicate this to be moon theme. All right. So for moon, the name is the moon, which is obviously not intuitive. So are you going to make shooting cast light? I could. Yeah, that would be really cool. I should, in fact, I should probably add light on my thrusters. That would be kind of cool. But only when they are emitting. So description. To do the moon, right? So position, let's see, what's Earth's position? So we have this. I just did this for testing. Let's put this out a bit farther. Let's do position, like, I don't know, 700. We'll put that out there. So moon. Position, we'll put this one to be 1300 and 650. How about that? So location scene, we're going to add moon scene over here. And we don't have a UI texture for it yet. We don't have any services for it yet, which is fine. Let's modify this scene a little bit. So sprite 2D. Let's go to our sprites. We have SPR moon. Put our collision shape to be a little smaller. And then we'll put our light occluder. We will clear these out. We'll just basically move these in, I guess. There's probably a way I could scale it, but this should be fine. Oh God. Well. There we go. We almost got this done. There. So now the moon should also do that stuff. So now if we go fly over here, there's Earth. Oh, I didn't program adding in the moon yet. All right. So now we can go back to our star system. All right. So star system, we have Genesis. So we have locations. We have Earth. Let's go ahead and add in the moon. And I feel like I forgot something. It's probably gonna crash. We'll see. Okay. That's actually kind of freaking cool right there. Yeah, looks awesome. I mean, obviously I should put these farther away. But wow, that adds a lot of detail to it. That's super cool. The moon is huge. I should probably make that smaller, or I should put it farther away. But either way, that's freaking cool. So let's make it 1400 away. And that should give it enough room to breathe, you know. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So the moon, I might scale the moon down to be a little smaller. So let's go to moon scene and let's just crank this baby down to be smaller. Do 0.5. There we go. Let's see how it looks now. Kind of cool. It looks so cool. Hell yeah. Amazing. Holy crap. This adds lots of depth. Wow. Cool. So shaders. Awesome. And it wasn't too big a deal to create another planet, so that's kind of cool. There's still some more details that we got to work out before we get too carried away, though. So, that's freaking awesome, though. Hell yeah. Alright, I'm getting some messages here. What's going on? Wow, okay. Man, that looks so good. That looks so awesome. So I got 2 working shaders. Claude was 2 for 2 on shaders, which is mind-blowing. Let's play around with thrusters adding light. I think that'd be kind of cool. So let's add light. And we'll put the point light right about right here. And then we're going to use, where's my light texture that I had? SPR light mask. It might be too big. Okay. So it is adding a light, which is cool. Maybe it's a bit much. So let's crank down the texture of that. Like 0.4. Maybe even less, like 0.2. It kind of works. So I need a way to toggle it only when it's actually emitting, of course. Which I could do. So we already have some sector here. So what we could do is we could... Let's see, enabled. If true, light 2D will emit light. Okay, cool. Well, what if we do blend mode mix? What does that do? That looks like dog shit. That is not what we want at all. Let's just stick to add. How about that? All right. So what we'll do is we need a way that whenever we change our emitting, we also want to change point light 2D enabled. So how do I make a... See, normally if I was making a variable, I would just make like a set get function. I don't think I can do that to a function. So Godot for set get. And indeed, that changed. Let's see. So get set value. Okay. Alternative syntax. Okay. Godot for set get on a inherited variable. Let's see if they found a way to do it. You can override the virtual set and get methods that are called after the built-in setter has achieved something. Interesting. So property. So that I don't really want to overwrite that though. I don't want to declare that. All right, well, a quick and dirty way is in my process event. I can just quickly check, hey, are we emitting? No, okay. It's not really that great. I'd rather hook it up with a signal. That way it only fires when it actually changes. So let's do that. Node. So we have signals. Let's take a look at GPU particles. So signals finished. Okay, so we basically we have to do it the quick and dirty way. So I'm going to do func process. We are going to basically say to do find a better way to do this. So are we emitting? If emitting, we are going to say we are. Is our light turned on? And we're going to say if point light 2D enabled, I'm going to say if not enabled, then we're not. Turn it on. Point light 2D enabled equals true. And then we can say else we're not emitting. Is our light still on? So we can do if point light 2D enabled. It is. Turn it off. Point light 2D enabled equals false. So this is a quick and dirty thing. It's not great because it's getting called every frame, which is kind of shitty and not super cool. But yeah, so let's copy. Let's not. Let's go to this one. Now we're going to add a child node. We're going to add a light 2D, point light 2D. We're going to drag in that light mask. Let's go ahead and go to the 2D. Let's make it 0.1, and then we will drag it to be like the middle of the thruster, basically. And we'll see what happens. There. So not much benefit from it, but you can see that it is emitting a light, which is kind of cool. Now, it's not going to interact with the shader of the planet, obviously, but I don't think it really has. It's not big enough to cast like a massive shadow on anything, but pretty cool. I like it, and especially because I haven't enabled the fact that it casts shadows. I don't know if I should do that or not, but I think it's a good little tweak. It definitely adds a lot to it. Just that small tweak was kind of huge. What's up, Zaki? Welcome. I am playing with shaders and lighting, and I think this looks way better than it did before. So I still gotta figure out how I'm gonna tweak this, though. So let's tweak that shader a little bit. Let's go to Genesis Star. Let's go to the shader that we have on here. Ooh, not that much. Huh. Yeah. Game looks great. Yeah, it's looking a little better. Just like these few tweaks have been kind of huge. I think it looks amazing. So that's exciting. So I feel like I should make it bigger though. Let's see. Transform, let's scale this up to like 3. Okay, that's pretty massive now. That's a big old sun. I'm mostly here to pop in and say hi, wish you a good stream, and see how your shader learning is going, and then snore. Yeah. It's probably bedtime for you, buddy. I still got about an hour and a half where I gotta hit the hay. But I appreciate you stopping by. It's going. I'm flying into the sun. Ah. There, that looks more like a sun. Man, the Earth is a bit too close to it, I think. But, cool. Freaking awesome. This looks so much better. This is awesome. Is it possible to make the plants further away? Oh, it is. I just put them closer just for funsies, because I'm still developing stuff. So I'm gonna put them farther away, and then once I add the ability to like zoom my camera out and stuff like that. But I think this looks dope. We're just playing around with lighting and shaders, and yeah, that looks so much better than it did before. Here, let's do a comparison. Let's fire up the old game so we can see how that looked. Ba-da-da-da. Load. Okay, so I'm here at this place. Let's go ahead and head back to the Genesis system. Yeah, that boost is going to be a way different too, I'll tell you that right now. Slight blur on the edges to make it not so sudden. So, I have to redo my art a little bit too, because I messed up the sprites, so the edges are all messed up. So I have to fix those. This is how it looked in the old game. The sun is kind of okay. The planets, like I'm casting shadows. That looks all fine and dandy, but then the planets look a little bit dull, right? Whereas if we go back to this, oh, that's even bigger now. Oopsie. So this looks a little better, I think. maybe I shouldn't have made the sun that big. How about we just do like 2.5? How about that? There we go. Actually, no. Let's crank that down to 1. And then we'll crank up the sprite, the size of that, to be 3. That way the light and stuff stays the same. So you can see on the edges of Earth, you can really see it. How it has that white kind of, yeah. So I still have to fix my sprites and stuff, but like this looks more like space. I like how it's casting shadows. Freaking cool. We're hovering over Earth, which is amazing. Love it. Even my thrusters emit light now, which is cool. Yeah. Cool. Hell yeah. I think that looks awesome. So what's next on our agenda here? So we got locations working. I guess we should make it so that we can land on them. So let's take a look at what we got to do to make that happen. So let's go ahead and I'm going to minimize the assets for now. So entities, I don't know about ships right now. Star systems, so the Genesis star system. Let's take a look at Earth.resource here. So we have to have a UI texture. And we have to define what services are available there. So I sort of defined services. So we have economy. So right now a service is just a name and a description of what it is and nothing else tied to it. So I think my plan was I was going to make different services that extend this base service class that do different things. I honestly thought the outline of Earth was clouds. No. It's not. It's just my derpy art. Especially like on the, you can see like on the edge of my ship as well. It's really, really bad. But that's fixable. I'll fix that later. Looks really good though. I like how this looks. I'm gonna fly into the sun like a badass. Whee! Yeah. I should probably make it so you like take damage if you fly too close to the sun or something. I think that'd be a fun mechanic. I don't know. Kind of cool. Alright, let's see here. So for services, what was I going to do for services? I love the shade in the plants, but do you get what I mean about making the shadows more soft or blurred on the edges? Big step. Yeah. So there is some stuff we could do for that. You see, when you get close to the sun and its shadow almost blurs out, that's the blur I'm talking about. I think if you're able to, adding slightly to the sides would be seamless. So there is a small tweak I can make to the shadows. So if we go to Genesis Star, we go to this light. Filter. Let's do this. Filter smooth. You can see the shadows are a bit smoother. They're not like they're much more subtle now. Yeah. As far as making it glow red, I don't know. Yeah, it looks so damn good. All this stuff has a cost though, but this does look a lot better. Definitely agree with that. I think I might crank down the smooth to maybe like 2. Let's see what that does. So even that is definitely an improvement. $3.5? Okay, I'll try that. 3.5. Let's try. Whoops. Ba-da-da-da-da. So part of that is just the shader effect of that star, but the shadows themselves do look a little bit better. I like it. I think it looks good. And I don't think it should be too big of a performance cost as well. So that's cool. Yeah. So cool. We got lighting, we got shadows, we got shaders. Shit, yeah. Just those things alone made the game look 60,000 times better. That small change adds a lot? Yes, I agree. Alright. So now we gotta start thinking about services. Is the base class for all services that a location offers. Okay. But damn, I come back and the game looks straight up nice. Yeah, it's improved a little bit over just the, hey, I made a ship move on a gray screen. And the way that I'm like putting this together too. So my project structure, I think, is going to make a lot more sense to me as well as I start scaling this. So if I zoom in over here, you can see I have assets and entities. Assets is like all of my art and stuff. The shaders, the audio, fonts, the sprites, sounds, all that stuff, themes. And then my entities is where all the stuff is going to be. So you can see I've got like upgrades, weapons, star systems, and I can break these down into more things. So I have economy, and then in every entities folder I have definitions where I'm defining like what the types are. And then I have the implementations where I'm actually implementing what those things are. So you can see I have different types of currencies already created. And in the case of our star systems here, so we have definitions. So we have star system, we have location data, and we have a location scene. And then the implementations of those, I have the Genesis star system, which at its base has the Genesis, like the star system resource. We have the star scene to place in there. And then we have the background that will be used for that star system. And then for locations, we have the resources and the scenes for those, all housed within each thing. So as I start adding more and more star systems, they're all going to be in their own folder. As I add more ships, they're all going to be in their own folder. So we have test ship here for right now, just kind of testing things out, how it works together. I know you're into metal. I think you should try to get some royalty-free symphonic orchestral music and doing metal additions to make them more your style. I'm imagining the metal kicking in during a big space fight. Oh, I got plans for music for this game too. I spent the last few days trying to figure out how I could get my recording set up to work on stream. I tried a bunch of stuff. I even busted out like my old MacBook to try to see if I can rig that up with like a capture card into my computer, but there's latency issues going on with it. Yeah, it's been a pain. So I think I'm almost there. Basically, I got Reaper for a DAW, for a digital audio workstation that I'm using right now. It's got my effects and stuff built into it. I figured out how to use my VSTs and stuff. So I have an interface I can plug into that. The only thing I'm trying to figure out is how do I get the output from the DAW to go into OBS. So that's the fight I'm fighting there. Because I would like to do some streams where we actually make music. That'd be awesome. I think that'd be so cool. And I got my own little my own like MIDI keyboard here that I can use with like a bunch of synth sounds and everything, and I got drum pads and all sorts of stuff that we could we could rock with. You would think it would. It works weird because it's on Linux. So basically my... it's a pain in the ass. My recording interface that I have here, which is what captures my guitar signal, basically has a bunch of outputs and stuff on it. And it seems like it's going from the DAW back into this. Because if I plug into the headphone jack, it works fine. Like, I can hear it. But the stream can't. OBS cannot. So I tried to make OBS like use this as well, and it's not picking it up. I don't know why. So, work in progress. I'm still playing with it. I'll figure it out eventually. Once I do, I might make a video about it, because I got some people who like my Linux stuff, so... I don't know. There's stuff in the works, though. I'm definitely working on it. Alright, so now that I got this stuff working, I'm at a phase now where I have to do a little more thinking about how I want to accomplish some things. So, now that we have a location, we need to be able to land on it. So, landing on a location. I also want to be able to target it as well. Click on it, press the key to cycle through them, have like some little graphic that shows that it's targeted. So that's a thing we need as well. So once we land on a location, it's going to bring up a UI. What data do I need for the UI? So for a location, we need the name of it. We need the description of what it is. We have the scene that we can deploy. Yeah, we got that. So we have the UI texture to display the actual image of the location, and then what services are offered. And then the services will have their own name and description about what they do, as well as the functionality of what happens when you click on them. What does it bring up? So there's a few things to build out there. I don't know if I want to start tackling that tonight. But yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call this here, and then I think I might play some more Deep Rock Galactic tonight, because I made some good progress on this. I kind of want to just rock and stone right now, though, because I'm at a point where I want to do some more thinking on this, and I don't want to sit here on stream just going, right? Probably not the best content. Well, thanks for stopping by, Zaki. I appreciate it. All right, before I end this, let's go ahead, play with shaders where I left off. Do some thinking on the next steps with landing at a location. Services, etc. Services, UI, etc. So we'll save that, and then what we'll do is we will open up this. Actually, it's still open in our terminal. So git status, git add. Cool. So we added some assets. We made some changes. Yep. Got shaders working. Tweaked some things to add lighting and handle. Yeah, that covers it. Since I'm the only developer of this project right now, I'm just gonna push straight to main. Normally I'd create different branches for features and stuff like that, but I'm not doing that right now. Have you played Helldivers 2 ever? It's on my wish list. I just haven't gotten it. And I'm not sure if I should, like, I feel like I'm probably too late to the party, you know? I don't know. But it is on my wish list. I do want to play it eventually. But I just haven't dug into it yet. But anyway, I'm gonna stop this stream. And I'm gonna fire up another one. And we're gonna jump into some Deep Rock Galactic for an hour or two before I go to bed. And yeah. See you guys there. If not, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, Zaki. Yeah. Great work, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'll be honest with you, it just got added to Xbox, so there's lots of new players. This is one of the best times to join. Well, shit, maybe I might get that next paycheck and see if I could stream that. That might be kind of fun. I think my computer can run it. We'll see. Does it have any sort of anti-cheat? Like, I guess we could look it up. Helldivers 2 Linux. Let's see. Proton DB game details for Helldivers 2. Gold. Works quite nice. Invasive anti-cheat, terrible all-around performance. This was 23 hours ago. Frame stutters, high lag. Okay. After the recent update, I can't connect to friends. Okay, Proton enable Wayland 1. Okay. Not recommended. Recommended Tinker. Okay. Oh, should be patched soon. All right. Well, I will look into it. Appreciate the recommendation. But for now, I'm going to stop this stream, and then we're going to jump into some Deep Rock Galactic because I want to promote my engineer again. I want to get that 3rd bronze star, baby. Yeah. Peace.